it's time to talk about crime and the neglect and how forgotten we're feeling here in the middle of the island once again. It's all about the South Shore, and we're just forgotten. And there's been some pretty big crimes that have been going on that the past couple of days that really just haven't really gotten spoken up about much. And we're going to actually talk about some of these crimes in this video. But we all know what's going on. We all know, it's all about the people on the South Shore living it up in their little enclave. Doing big for the weekend, where they are all happy. While our reality in the middle of the island is more like this. Vagrants hanging out on our streets. Places closing. Yes, Western Beef in Mineola is closing. They say store moving, but they have a location in Carl Place, so now Mineola will be a food desert. We won't have a supermarket here anymore. Not a surprise because, again, nobody really wants to come here. Everybody wants to be on the South Shore. That's where they want to be. So, anyway, let's go and take a look at some of these crimes that we've got going on to talk about here. Okay, so this is, they're covering this because it happened on the South Shore. Suspect shot by officers following attempted arrest and pursuit that started in Bohemia. But however, they barely covered this that Laura Uhl has reported, and we're going to go to this right now. It says, male stabbed in Nassau County. Police are at a local motel on Jericho Turnpike reporting a male stabbed. This is near Jericho Executive Plaza in Jericho. Multiple suspects took off westbound toward Jericho Turnpike. Police sources stated the vehicle was stopped by 256th Street in Belrose, and the suspects ran out. Police didn't disclose if this is related to the same incident. So there's two incidences of a person on Jericho Turnpike and Belrose. Jericho Turnpike just overall is just, just a mess, and we're going to go and show you this area, and then we'll get to the other story that SouthShore12 did report on because of what happened on the South Shore, so they're going to cover it. So this is this is a bad area. I know the spot right here. Jericho Executive Plaza, which is somewhere over here. Jericho Plaza. There is a motel around here. I'm thinking it's somewhere over here. And they're already putting, I know there were people who are up in arms about a homeless shelter. But here's the thing, they're already dumping them in the area. It's probably the Inn at Jericho. It's probably this place right here. They're dumping them in here. All right, dumping a lot. The people that get out of jail, they're all put in here. All right. So it's already happening. But of course, that hasn't gotten reported yet on. Hasn't even gotten reported yet. So, and then this was barely covered. Police and fire marshal investigating a brush fire at Calverton Enterprise Park on Monday night. So Riverhead detectives and the Riverhead fire marshals are investigating a brush fire that occurred on the southeast portion of the Calverton Enterprise Park site. And with all the rain going on, it's really kind of surprising that there would be a brush fire. So it sounds like somebody sent it intentionally. Riverhead police said in a press release they received a report of a brush fire at the site last night shortly after 8 p.m. Arriving patrol units located a brush fire at the site. The area affected was south of the east runway. The Mineola Fire Department was notified and responded to extinguish the fire. There were no reported injuries. The fire was extinguished in about an hour. Small brush fire on the southeast portion of EPCAL. Obviously, no, News 12 never reported on that either. And they also barely covered this. A man found dead behind a building in Brentwood. An investigation is underway after a man was found dead on Long Island. Again, very serious, but again, they're barely covering it. A discovery was made behind a building in Brentwood, located at 345 Washington Avenue, just around noon on Wednesday. The preliminary investigation and exam were inconclusive regarding the cause of death, so they're still not sure if this was a homicide or just an accidental death. But still, again, barely covered it. So let's now go to this story here that South Shore 12 is talking about. Suspect shot by officers following an attempted arrest and pursuit that started in Bohemia.
New information tonight after police say a man fired a gun at officers multiple times. One officer was also struck by a vehicle. News 12's John Dowding joins us tonight from Bay Shore, where this chaotic scene ended. John, what are you hearing from neighbors?
Well, Antoinette, it was an unbelievable scene for neighbors here in Bay Shore last night. Suffolk police say 33-year-old Brandon Scanlon of Middle Island is in custody. He faces drug and weapons charges after this incident last night. And nearly a day...
You know, it's a shame. Middle Island used to be a nice area years ago, and now it's becoming an eastward extension of Coram.
Later, crime scene tape still here near the scene that marks the end of the 25-minute pursuit yesterday. Now, Suffolk police gave us an update this afternoon about the investigation. Police say it started in Bohemia, where police tried to arrest Scanlon. Officers say Scanlon drove away and hit an officer, and as the minivan he traveled in from Bohemia went from Bohemia to Brentwood and into Bay Shore, police say officers exchanged gunfire multiple times with the suspect. The car crashed here on the North Service Road of Sunrise Highway, and police took him into custody. Now, we spoke to two neighbors who were on Sunrise. We spoke to some neighbors who were on Sunrise Highway when the chase came to an end.
All of a sudden, this gray van comes maybe doing 100, 110 miles an hour, passing us, and then about 20 cop cars following.
Remember, the crime in the middle of the island, these people think that's not going to affect them, but it is, because they can drive. They can drive to the South Shore. And in this case, that's exactly what happened.
It's just you could be in the quietest neighborhood. You never know what could happen. Anything can happen.
Which is why you need to care about the middle of the island falling to pieces.
Definitely a surprise indeed for those neighbors. Now, police also say that Scanlon was shot yesterday during the exchange of gunfire. He was brought to a hospital and was being treated for a non-life-threatening injury. Police also say that he was facing other charges prior to yesterday's incident, and he could face more charges as the investigation here continues.
So, again, probably somebody who shouldn't have been out on the streets to begin with.
That's the latest here tonight in Bay Shore. I'm John Dowding, News 12, Long Island.
So Middle Island is really falling on hard times, and we're just going to look at Middle Island here for a moment here, because this used to be a decent area, but a lot of this Artist Lake complex, you think this is a nice complex, it's gated and everything, but they're actually moving a lot of problems into this. And there's actually quite a bit of crime in this complex, believe it or not. You wouldn't think so, but there is. And there used to be a supermarket here. This closed. You're probably not going to see it here. This probably is an old view. Yeah, Compare Foods, that is closed. There's no supermarket there right now. You have a lot of vacant businesses here. All right, that's vacant. And then you go up the hill here, and you got even more vacant businesses up here. Bank closed. You got a whole string of vacant businesses here. I'll just show you here. This bank here has been closed for a while. Weeds growing in it. This is from 2019, so it's the problems that are occurring further down the line in Coram have now spread to Middle Island. And my concern is it's only a matter of time before they reach Ridge and the Pine Barrens there, and then it gets too dangerous to hike, which is really going to suck. And a lot of the businesses here just they're just gone. This is like Coram, and this is all pretty much abandoned here. Most of this stuff is closed up. Almost all this stuff is closed up. Everybody. It just gives you an example of the problems. I think this is an old street view from 2019, so. Some of the places that you see here aren't around anymore. A lot of them aren't. That's the thing. And I guess I can show you when I ride on the bus what it's like. But, I'm afraid to do that. So, they covered that. Okay, good for them. But there's a lot of stuff that they just barely covered here. And this is the kind of stuff that they love to cover, these stupid stories. Small robotics team. Islip, Brickaniers. Of course, Islip, the South Shore again. They're all over the...
Right here.
This is...
Lego
Life
robotics
is just
teams.
peaches and cream for the people that watch this TV station. You know, they're in their own little enclaves. They're unaware of the real problems that are facing many areas on Long Island right now. You know, of course, they're covering the earthquake, even though it didn't even happen here. 2 suspected gang members, again, barely covered this. 30 seconds, barely covered it.
After shots were fired into a Medford home.
So,
2 alleged gang members have been indicted after shots were fired into a Medford home that hit an 8-year-old boy. Anthony Payne.
Again, it's the middle of the island. They don't care.
Of Coram and Urson Kumas of Middle Island. They're both facing assault and
Coram and Middle Island. There you go again.
weapons charges. As we've reported, the 8-year-old was grazed by a bullet while he was asleep on his couch. This happened last summer on Cedar Avenue. The Suffolk District Attorney's Office says the 2 men shot into that home in retaliation of a gang shooting earlier in the day.
And I think that was, this is the dangerous stuff that goes on here. This is the dangerous stuff that goes on. All right, you know. And of course, they were all over this because there was a fuel spill on Sunrise Highway. Stop the presses. South Shore again.
Cruise on Sunrise Highway
Islip.
after a truck jackknife and
Now, if that happened on the LIE in, say, Roslyn Heights, I don't think it would be getting coverage like this.
This happened in rush hour, around 5 p.m. eastbound between exits 41 and 40. Carmen Grant is on the scene now with what we know. Carmen, how's that cleanup going?
Yeah, Kevin, this highway crash happened during the height of the evening rush hour, putting traffic to close. Emergency workers
So again, it's all about the people on the South Shore, all about them. You know, it's kind of interesting because when you go to this story here, remember the school bus that had an accident? This happened a while ago, but again, that only got 21 seconds, right?
Police tell us this happened
happened
just
on the
before
North
9
Shore.
a.m.
Who
on
cares,
Fluff
right?
Mill Road as the bus would.
It's just, this is TV for snobs. That's the bottom line. It's TV for snobs. You know? And of course, they're all over Valva. They keep talking about Valva. South Shore, again, South Shore dudes. They're all over that. You know? But you don't see, let's go to the crime section here. Let's see. Yes, there was one crime. All right, here's another one. This is another story here. Fleeing the scene again, they barely covered this. See, this somebody slammed into a police vehicle. I don't know if this was the same thing that we covered earlier, but this is something else. And again, because it happened in Deer Park,
This
they're just
morning,
not
as police
interested.
search for the driver who slammed into a patrol car and sped off. Take a look. That's the car they're looking for. Suffolk police say an officer was driving a marked police vehicle with lights and sirens
So
on.
I'm in Deer Park, they don't care. But if it happens in Bohemia, they're all over
trying
it.
to make a traffic stop. That's when the car crashed into the officer and drove away. The officer did have to be taken to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. This happened earlier this week. And police say the vehicle has distinctive aftermarket chrome 5-spoke rims on it.
Again, because it happened on the South Shore, it happened in the middle of the island, they don't care. That's the way this network is. Happens in the middle of the island, they don't care. MS-13 gang member pleads guilty to 2017 quadruple, only 26 seconds. Elmont man pleads guilty to strangling women, leaving body behind dumpster, only 23 seconds. Well, let's go up a little further here, because there was a crime that happened in Rockville Center, and they actually weren't all over it, which is kind of surprising. I'm surprised they're not all over this yet. There probably will be. But a man hid in a garbage pail before attempting to kidnap a woman. Now, I believe the woman was targeted on this in this case.
Kidnapped a woman in Rockville Center. Police say Isaac Diaz Toloncini hid in a garbage pail and tried to grab the woman and force her into his car. They say this happened Wednesday morning around 6 a.m. as the 48-year-old woman was walking to her job on Sunrise Highway. The victim broke free, ran away. She called police. Toloncini is charged with attempted kidnapping.
So, let's see. This is, there's another story on this, so we're going to actually go to this. This is the story from the Nassau County Police, because apparently this guy's homeless. Undomiciled. We can't use the word homeless now. We're going to use undomiciled. This happened at 6 a.m. So she was attempting to enter her place of employment, and this man, who was discreetly hiding in a garbage pail, attempted to grab the victim and forcibly walk toward her to his vehicle. The victim was able to break free. Subsequent to the investigation on Thursday, April 4th, the defendant was located nearby the victim's residence and was placed into police custody without incident. He is charged with attempted kidnapping second degree and unlawful imprisonment second degree. And he was arraigned on Friday. He's probably back out again. I just know it. It's not a bail eligible offense, according to the governor. This guy, he might have been targeting that woman, I'm thinking. That doesn't seem like a random crime. It doesn't seem like a random crime. And then there was something else that happened, too. Let's see, we got to go back to the News 12 page here. Crime page, let's see. Crime. Something else that happened that in Mineola that was barely covered. We're going to have to go a little bit of a ways here. Of course, see, when crime happens on the South Shore, they're usually all over it. See, Sayville home invasion was targeted. Card game was underway. I'm going to play that one. There was a targeted home invasion. All right? But get this, barely gets covered. Nassau officer injured during arrest in Hyde Park. Police say a suspect was sleeping in a private parking lot. Again, this is exactly what we have in our area. People sleeping in their cars, vagrants, people that are just up to no good, just hanging out in our area.
Officer was injured this morning during an arrest in Hyde Park. Detectives say Raul Vangolia from Queens was sleeping in his car in a private parking lot.
Queens. I'm wondering if he's one of those people that have been welcomed in to the New York State with open arms by Eric Adams and Kathy Hochul. I just wonder.
And did not listen to officers when they arrived. They say he tried to drive away and became violent when officers approached him. The officer and the driver were taken to the hospital with injuries.
So again, 21 seconds, that's all it gets. It's just so obvious what's going on here. It really is. That's not the one. That's not the one. There was another story here about, 3 suspects wanted for assaulting Comac employee. Again, Walmart Comac. 21 seconds. That's it. I mean,
the man and 2 women last week regarding their handling of products. Then we're told the 3 people started to attack the employee, punching him multiple times.
And these 3, on Easter when I was coming back from the South Shore and coming back to Mineola, and I came back to Mineola, and, obviously the station was deserted and had the homeless person sleeping in the stairwell. I saw these people, they're not dressed the same way, but they were being very rowdy. It almost looks like that same group of people. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But, again, these are the kind of people you have hanging around in Mineola. They're not up to any good. They're not up to any good. They're not up to any good. I actually have to go. We're going to go just do this. Mineola News 12. And let's see. Because I thought they covered something, but nothing even comes up in here. Let's go to the patch. There was a Mineola. Again, this wasn't even covered. Andrew Avila is charged with first-degree manslaughter in connection to the 2023 death. Oh, yeah, this is the story. This is the story that that News 12 barely covered. All right, this happened, and again, this happened in 2023. According to the indictment, in the early morning hours of February 14, 2023, Avila met with 39-year-old Rebecca Carlson in his vehicle in Mineola. Avila had contacted the victim through a website, and they agreed to meet in person to perform a sex act. So it's prostitution. We are having prostitution going on in Mineola. After getting into an argument that turned physical, Avila strangled her to death. And then he dumped the victim's body next to a dumpster behind Advanced Auto Parts retail store on Grand Avenue in South Hempstead. So, again, News 12, South Shore 12, I should say, barely covered that. All right? They barely covered it. Barely covered it. All right. But there was a senior citizen that was ripped off in Mineola. They don't even have it on the website. I think they don't even care about us. I mean, it's so. Here we go again. 17 seconds. This is what they think of the middle of the island. Man wild throwing rocks through East Meadow store window. Suspect threw rocks and stole products.
The person they say broke into an
Another
East
one
Meadow
of these
store.
people in hoodies
We're
up
told
to no
officers
good.
were called to Hempstead
They're all over the
Convenience
place here
and
in the middle
Smoke
of the
on
island.
Hempstead Turnpike. This was yesterday. Take a look. There are clear pictures. Police say this man had thrown a rock into the front window and stole to.
So for all these crimes that I'm reading here in the middle of the island, maybe there's a few on the South Shore. All right. The middle of the island deals with the worst of this, the worst of it. And I can't even find the story about oh, here we go. All right. See, SouthShore12 didn't even cover this, but they did cover it. But it says there was a $30,000 phone scam and a Brooklyn man was arrested. So a Mineola woman was the victim of this phone scam. A 57-year-old victim was contacted on Monday by a man claiming to be a Microsoft employee. He notified her of a $30,000 gambling charge on her account. A short-term time later, the victim received a call from a second man claiming to work for Chase Fraud Protection. The victim was then instructed to remove $30,000 from her Chase account to satisfy the debt. She was told that an agent would pick up the cash at her residence. After withdrawing the money, the victim got suspicious and called police. The investigation led to the arrest of Young Kang Wing, 31 of Brooklyn. He is charged with third-degree grand larceny, fifth-degree attempted conspiracy, and second-degree attempted scheme to defraud. Now, it's funny because when there was a scam in Oceanside, let's see if we can find that. News SouthShore12 was all over it. See, here's the proof. They were all over it. They got 3 minutes and 10 seconds. 3 minutes and 10 seconds it got. All right, but I know this woman lost a lot more money, I guess, but it's the same principle. But, if it happened in the middle of the island, they wouldn't talk about it. Look at who they gear to. It's another preppy blonde woman again. We all know who they gear to, man. They're not gearing to us in the middle of the island. They're gearing to the people on the South Shore, the very privileged, stuck up, in their own world people on the South Shore. But you got to be with them if you want to have a good quality of life and be safe. We all know about that. All right. So let's go. There's a lot of stuff here. We've got a lot of stuff that I've got to cover here in this. I think there was one other thing. Well, let's move on to right now because I'm not. Let's move on to this here. Do you feel safe riding the subway? We all know how dangerous the subways are, and they're not getting any safer. Oh yeah, I can't even watch this. But Charlton was featured in this video. I'll put it in below. But Charlton from Passengers United, you'll see him quoted here. Charlton D'Souza, the president and founder of Passengers United, and James Innes, public safety organization at New York Community of Change, joined the rush hour on Thursday to weigh in. So let's see. It does not look like they have. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have played this video for you, but I can't because, again, New York 1, you've got to be a subscriber to play that, and I don't have the credentials for that. So this was forwarded to me, and I'll put it in the links below if you want to watch it. Then I'm focused more on Long Island news, as you know. Let's see. I think that just about covers everything, though it does feel like I'm forgetting something. So much crime is going on. So many problems here in the middle of the island, and it's only getting worse. It's not getting any better. This is Mineola. This is the streets of Mineola, deserted. In the North Shore, too. Forgotten. It's Manhasset. Burned out office building for sitting there for years. You wouldn't have that on the South Shore. It'd be cleaned up within a week. All right? Plenty of life down there, and, absolutely nothing going on in our area, it's just all about the South Shore. Again, this is what you have here, Long Island Railroad, on the Babylon branch, you got to be with these people.
At least 2 phone calls. And he's performing.
And what calls?
His phone is so loud. You will hear his phone conversation from down on the block. This is hilarious. I literally get in the car I'm like this. How loud is it?
Listen to them talk. It's in their own world. I mean, this was the train tonight. I mean, this was Easter, but that sound clip was from tonight's Friday night. You know, and then I got to leave this and come home to this. Homeless people sleeping in the stair. I mean, this person's sleeping between the window and the railing. It scared me half to death. I'm coming down the stairs. I see this person there. I mean, this is what it is here in Mineola. But it's all part of the plan. You know, they only want to be with their own kind. These people have money. They're going to price us out. You know, this is what they're doing. They don't people like me, and we're not allowed to be with them. You know, and it sucks. We can go there for the day, but we can't live there. And, you know, and that's the problem. So we got to deal with all these problems in the middle of the island. While these people live it up, you know, in their own world, you know, oblivious. This is Massapequa Park, but it's just another one of those coveted South Shore towns where everything's taken care of. There isn't a vacant store around at all. You know, it's only the best for them in their little perfect little preppy little world that the rest of us are not allowed to live in. You know, and it's all part of the plan. It's all how the plan works. The plan is designed to drive us out. You know, they put all the problems in the middle of the island. Everything I've read to you, a lot of these stories happened in the middle of the island, you know, because this is where they're putting all the problems. They're putting all the poop in the middle. All the poop right here. It's in the middle of the island. There, you know, it's short, but it's true, you know. Deer Park, Brentwood, another big piece of poop there, and then another one over in Coram, and this whole area here, and then it's only a matter of time before it affects the Pine Barrens too. All this crap is just being dumped on us, you know, and then some of it on the North Shore too, you know, but the people in their enclaves, they get to avoid most of it. Maybe there are a few specks here and there, you know, maybe a speck here, maybe a speck here, you know, or maybe a speck here, but, you know, we're dealing with most of this crap being dumped on us, man. You know, it's so sick of it, man. You know, meanwhile, these snobs, they live it up in their little preppy little worlds, and you know, we're not allowed to be living there. We're so sorry, you're disabled, you're in a housing program. You don't deserve to live somewhere happy. No, it's only for people like us, the money people on Wall Street. We're the only ones that are allowed to live here and have the good life. You know, I mean, really, you know. If you don't like it, you can shut up and go live in New Jersey. Since when did you take over Long Island, snobs? You know, these people have taken over Long Island. They think they've taken over the whole island. They think they own the whole damn island. It's ridiculous. You know, it's just for them now, right? You know, I mean, really? I mean, nah, it's not like it shouldn't be like this at all. It shouldn't be like this at all. And then when somebody thought, well, what's the problem? They're living it up. You know, they should be allowed to live it up. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine and all, but why are they allowed? Why are they saying, oh, well, you can't live there? You know, what gives these people the right to say I can't live with them? You know, I need to live somewhere I'm safe and happy, and I don't want to be around homeless people and criminals. I want to be where it's nice and clean and happy. You know, but no, these people only want to be with their own kind. I'm not allowed to be. It's funny they're flying the American flag, you know, and that in a lot of ways they're against everything that America's all about. Which is opportunity for everybody. You know, they only think that they should have the good life. All of us deserve the good life, not just them. I'm tired of it. I'm going to keep talking about it. And shame on SouthShore12 again, just not covering the news again properly. You know, I mean, this network is just continues to be just clueless. They really do. You know, or an earthquake. It didn't even happen on Long Island. All right. You know, but just look at the people they gear to. I mean, let's play. You know, all you got to do is play this and look at South Shore Sam. Listen to her voice.
Eclipse, but at 2:10 in the afternoon, bright sliver of sunshine. That's why you still need to use those sunglasses. If you're viewing the total eclipse, you won't need those glasses. And then at 4:36.
I mean, look at her. She's just typical. I know she's very attractive, very physically attractive, but she's a snob.
Too today.
Right?
We get some bright spots, but it's breezy. It's cool. Sunday finally starts to clear out. It will feel a little bit warmer. We see some
Listen
of those
to
clouds.
that voice. They all have that voice. That snobby way of talking. I mean, it's just grating, you know? I'm telling you. It just is. Just is. So here she is, just being all preppy. Oh, of course. Did she just say Islip? It's always the South Shore. Oh, Islip, I guess she means Islip Airport, but, you know, I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous. And lastly, we'll talk about the Eclipse, because we all know the Eclipse glasses, and, you know, Belmore Library was offering Eclipse glasses. I don't know if they have them anymore, but let's see. We are out of solar eclipse glasses, so they did have them, but now they're out of them. But they're only giving them to the Belmore card holders. Mineola, we never got any eclipse glasses at our library. No, I guess we're not worthy of that. But whatever the case is, it's ridiculous once again. This whole eclipse, they're just milking it to make money. That's what it is. They're just milking it to make money, you know. It's just like during the pandemic when they didn't have enough masks and people get ripped off. I mean, it's ridiculous. They should have enough eclipse glasses for everybody. My gosh. Only for Belmore residents only. I mean, come on. But they're snobs. They don't want to share. That's what snobs do. They don't want to share. All right, I think I've spoken enough. So, you know, Laura Ull, let's just see. I think there were a couple of other things here that were posted on Laura Ull, and I'm going to... What's happening on Jericho Turnpike right now? Let's see. All right. You know, let's see what we got here. Eclipse glasses in high demand. This is the dead body in Brentwood that SouthShore12 barely covered. Yeah, I don't even, you know, they don't even have it on their thing here. They don't even have it on their thing. I'm looking. I don't see it. I don't even see it here. No, I'll look one more time. Not even in here. You know, what can I tell you? It's TV for snobs. It's TV for snobs. All right? This is TV for snobs. Look at who they serve. All you got to do is look at her. You know, she's just the kind of typical South Shore woman that you have. This typical blonde, preppy, all that kind of stuff, you know. Just really just, you know, and a lot of guys fall for that type on Long Island. That's what a lot of guys like. Not me, no. So, all right. We're not here to talk about girls. Let's end this video. And, you know, it's just typical what's going on. It's just typical. And we all know it's all part of the plan. But I'm going to keep fighting the plan because I don't want to wind up having to go live in New Jersey. Even though you snobs want me there, I'm going to fight, and I'm going to keep fighting, and if I need to, I'm going to fight even harder to get where I need to be on Long Island. Thank you for watching.